Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. We are the Mile High Property Brothers. Today, another fun one, another informative one. We will be talking about new construction homes and taking you through a full vlog tour.
All right, guys, let's check it out. What's up, guys? I'm Eli Schmidt. This is my business partner, Will Grimes. And if it's your first time checking out our channel, first of all, welcome. Second of all, while you're here, before you go, hit that subscribe button and don't forget the notification bell. That way, every Tuesday and Thursday and every other Saturday, you're gonna get notified whenever we drop a new video. And on these videos, guys, we tell you everything there is to know about moving to or living in literally the entire Denver, Colorado area and the surrounding suburbs.
100%. And we are licensed brokers here in the state of Colorado, which means as much as we love making these videos, we would love more to help you with those needs. So that number that's popping up below, we are the guys to answer the phone calls, text messages, and those emails. So if there's something we can do for you, we would love to. But with that being said, let's dive into it and talk about new construction homes and give you guys just a drive-through, a take-through as far as like a full vlog tour, right? So we'll be covering a couple main areas. We'll go into some specific neighborhoods, but ideally just covering this process. Where are a lot of the new builds happening and what does it look like for you guys as buyers?
Now, the three that we're going to be diving into today are three of the biggest sites, construction sites, builds, communities, developments that are going on in Colorado as a whole right now.
Right.
They all happen to be on the southern side, which is just where a lot of people tend to gravitate when they move to Colorado.
Yep, like south to southeast.
Yep.
And keep in mind, guys, like not to cut you
You're
off,
good.
but to cut him off. Right? It's been a little while. He's been doing that to me more than often. So I'm starting to turn this franchise around.
Right.
Starting to put myself back in the winner circle or the loser circle, depending on how you look at cutting people off. Either way, digressing. Keep in mind when you're looking at like the biggest areas as far as new construction development, yes, residential does coincide with commercial and just where populations are starting to accumulate and how do they best represent and build that. So no, it doesn't mean that it's overly crowded. Colorado, especially in the outskirts of the Denver metro area, still have a long way to go before it's considered crowded, especially compared to where some of you guys are coming from Philadelphia to Chicago to Southern California to Florida. We're not even close to some of that population as far as per square mile. However, it is nice because if you are going to grab a new build and you want the amenities and some of those things with it, it's nice to have stores and highways and byways and places to as far as like commute, right? Yep. To get you guys through that. So yes, everything that we're showing, you're not clearly out, or you're not clear out in the boonies where you've got no infrastructure, no shopping, no gyms. You're 5 hours away from Denver. Like it's nothing like that, but they are more of the ones that are getting developed at a larger scale.
There we go. Okay, so starting off, let's go all the way down south.
Yep.
Looking at Will's clock analogy, right? This visual demonstration. We are at 6. We are in Castle Pines, which is just north of Castle Rock. And this development is brand spanking new, even though Castle Pines is not new at all. This development is, and that's called The Canyons. The development as a whole is called The Canyons. Now, what's interesting about this development is previously, this was just completely open fields, right? There's horses on there, people owned it, it was privately owned. Castle Pines has typically always been on the west side of I-25 if you're looking at a map right now, in a fairly little city just north of Castle Rock. Now, once the canyons popped up, this is where Castle Pines came and they purchased that land on the east side of I-25 where there is more room to develop. This development is going to be massive.
Pissed off Eminem. Kind of sort of how it feels like going to the east side of I-25. However, super gorgeous spot. Everything that Castle Pines is developing, we're big fans of it because they keep the integrity of like the Colorado feel. A lot of different neighborhoods do that. A lot of different cities do that. Some of them,
What's wrong with you?
it's just hard to beat Castle Pines as far as like just the overall feel, the rolling hills, the pine trees.
Yeah.
It's also just on the backside of like Sapphire Point, but really cool spot. You are not too far from the highway. Obviously, I-25 runs right down the center of Castle Pines, but so the commute, not bad at all.
Yeah.
You are not too far if you want to go to Southlands Mall in Southeast Aurora, or if you want to go
Park
down to
Meadows
Castle Rock,
Mall.
or Park Meadows Mall, which is right across or right up the highway, or if you guys want to head down to Castle Rock and go through the outlets. But
Yeah.
super cool spot. But the biggest thing that people love down there is Douglas County Schools, the type of home that's being built down there, and then more specifically, again, just the atmospherics of that Colorado feel and kind of like just that feeling of being in the mountains versus having a view of them. A lot of people are attracted to.
Yeah, now one thing I love about these new developments that they're starting to do is not just develop homes in this neighborhood in the rec center, but make it so that the community as a whole feels like its own little space. And they do that by creating, I guess the word for it would be like a visitor center. But in that visitor center, there is a fantastic coffee shop where the coffee is really, really good, and it's right at the entrance. So you'll see as you're pulling into the canyons, there's a beautiful bridge, and then you first come up to the visitor center. There's amazing coffee in there. So whether you're coming home and need to get fired up before dealing with the family, or you're on your way to work on the way out and need to get fired up and you're trying to beat the Starbucks line, man, it's a great place to stop. And it's a good center focal point for the neighborhood when you come in, and it really just gives us good wow factor as you come in. And because this neighborhood is so new, right now, guys, you are at ground level pricing. So essentially, a lot of these homes you're looking at, they'll advertise 600s online. It's mostly like 700s coming into it. They'll go all the way up to 2 million plus. But what I love about these guys is that they are doing just some fantastic styled homes that are not only Colorado style, but that modern farmhouse look, the whites and the blacks. All the builders in there are very, very different. There's some ultra modern looking homes. There's some more traditional looking homes, but all of the homes have a very good Colorado aesthetic feel to them.
If you look behind Eli, there's a ton of coffee I bought him for, I think, a housewarming gift for his birthday. Hasn't even been opened. So now we know where he's getting his coffee
Because
at.
we don't have a coffee maker. Gets the gifts without the coffee maker. I appreciate it, though. I appreciate it.
Back to what you guys are here for. Two main points is, one of the greatest pros as far as buying in a new built community is in Castle Pines or anywhere else, they make these neighborhoods that they're developing kind of feel like their own little network, it feels like an actual neighborhood, from the entertainment center as far as like where your pool's at, so your clubhouse and all those good things, and the entryway, and just how the neighborhood greets you from the second you pull in or when you're on your way out. Really cool feel. In addition to that, when we're talking about some of these communities where they go from 700s all the way up to 2 million, putting our business hat on, what does that look like for you guys? Well, obviously, if you're buying closer to that 700,000 range and you've got homes that are out there that are upwards into the 2 million, that means you've got plenty of room for equity. And if you want to do upgrades, or some landscaping or whatever it is, or if you live there for several years, can you still grow into more equity over time and your home still being worth more several years from now? 100%, because you're not the biggest house or the most expensive house on the block or in the neighborhood per se. As far as the ones that are toward the top, hey, what does that look like? Let's explain that. The way Colorado has its wealth spread around is it's not just Cherry Hills, it's not just Boulder that has wealth. You've got so many views out here, what we would call oceanfront property, but mountain front properties from Fort Collins all the way down to the Springs. The way wealth is spread out and the way the demand for where people want to live and the views that you can have are spread across all the way from north to south. So there's still a lot of spots to have great views. These homes that are getting built that are closer to that $2 million range, they're on those lots that have amazing views and amazing locations in neighborhoods. So, hey, are those still going to appreciate? Yes, because the more and more people move here and incorporate Colorado, the less and less these prime lots are available, which means not so much the material of what the house is made of gets worth more. It's the land that it sits in and sits on that becomes more valuable. So yes, you can still grow in a ton of appreciation as far as buying at the top end of some of these areas. So just speaking to that business hat, regardless of what we're talking about, you're still in a good spot no matter what.
And a community like this, they're at least 10 years out from being finished. So when you're buying now, guys, you're going to have, you're buying at ground level. So the prices are only going to go up from there.
Correct.
Even just from the homes that are being built, not to mention just the normal appreciation that you're going to be able to take advantage of.
100%. See that? See that basic pumpkin? Too late. Can't drink that. And time's a ticking on this holiday batch, so you better get his coffee maker and appreciate the coffee that I bought him.
Oh, man.
Moving forward, let's talk about some areas out in Southeast Aurora by Southlands Mall, which is South Shore.
South Shore. South Shore is one of many developments going on out there, but definitely one of our favorites. And what my favorite thing is about South Shore is they just keep continuing to add. So not only have they built new elementary schools out there, but they just built a brand new rec center. So they're estimating this year we're going to see another 20% of appreciation. So that is always good. And even though we're not going to be able to come in at the ground floor pricing of a new build community, you're not going to have to live in a construction zone for the next 10 years.
Correct. And either way you look at it, whether you are and it's an earlier spot and you deal with a little bit of construction, but you get a great price, you're still going to have equity. Or if you get in something that's a little bit more mature, you're still going to have plenty of equity. And again, like the demand for those areas because of the school districts, the commute to the airport or downtown is phenomenal. And some of these rec centers that we're talking about, no, these are not the norm as far as every new build community. Like South Shore has definitely gone above and beyond as far as accommodations and the views that you have out there coupled with the livability in the school district. So your demand for everything is still going to be there. If you get in late, you're still going to have plenty of equity as far as like how Colorado grows. And again, the demand for that area because of school districts and rec centers and just the overall like atmospherics of how that area feels, super cool. And all of those things matter when it comes to consumers and the demand for what they're looking for.
Yep. And my last point to South Shore is that being a more developed, although still new build community, all the commercial infrastructure is already there. Southland Shopping Center, good established neighborhoods around, good established
Lowe's,
trees,
Home
landscaping,
Depot,
everything.
Chick-fil-A,
everything.
you already know it's legit. You got Chick-fil-A
Yep.
right there.
Yep.
You got good people there. You got smart people there. You've got great
Actually,
food.
that was the one where they, I think, designed a new like drive-through concept with like the multiple lanes and all that stuff. I think South Shore was like their primary location.
You got Firehouse subs there.
Know
You've
all
got a
about
lot of really cool
Chick-fil-A.
stuff, and you're not too far from again E470 and all the commute that we've talked about in our previous videos as far as going down south or going up north or going to the heart of Denver. Hence why I live out there because of all the driving we do for all of you. It's nice to be off the beaten path and a great place for family while also still being able to commute in a timely manner. So a lot of pluses out there. Definitely keep it in mind.
Entry-level pricing going to be about $700. Going up as high as you can imagine. Not as high as you can imagine.
Yeah, 2.5 to 3.
Yeah, yep. And of course, with those come more custom homes, bigger lots, better views, all that stuff. But entry-level pricing, count on about 700s.
No coffee maker included.
No coffee makers. Okay, guys, now we're gonna head all the way out west. We're gonna jump on 470 from South Shore. We're gonna head west, and then we are gonna go south just a little bit on Highway 85 or Santa Fe. And this is gonna take us to the biggest development that Colorado's seeing right now, and that is a new community called Sterling Ranch.
Sterling Ranch has been around for a couple of years. We've covered it a little bit. Really cool. One of the synopses out there is like everything they've done as far as like integrating their own independent water source and how that works. And I'm not the scientist that created it, but there's a lot of cool stuff that's going on with it. In addition to that, Sterling Ranch is like its own little smart town, like smart neighborhoods as far as like if a kid is missing, they have like certain flashes to streetlights that go off. They recycle rainwater through the soil and different stuff out there, and really cool. So a lot of innovative things are going on out there. They've had a lot of research and development come from like Purdue University. A lot of time and care that's gone into it, but really cool, newer homes. You also have fiber optics out there that run through the ground, and you have a full like gig of internet hardwired into your home. Obviously the high efficiency and the smart technology that all the other new developments have as well, but a couple of different amenities here. And yes, you're on the western slope, what I would call the western slope. So you do have
Front Range.
You do have a little bit more of that view as far as like the mountains. However, that does come with a little bit more weather. So be accommodating with that. North facing homes, things like that we've spoken about, all to consider.
Yes. Now, the other thing, similar to the canyons that we're talking about as our first community, there is a really good coffee shop and visitor center there. In addition to that, they have an urgent care. They have
with
a bank.
UC Health, really cool stuff.
Yeah, and all these things are specific to that community. So again, they just make it very, very easy for the residents to have access to everything that they could need.
Schools are still up and coming, but I'm pretty sure that's Littleton School District, and you're also not too far from that national park. Roxborough Park, so really
Gorgeous.
cool, but a lot of really cool stuff. So if you guys would like to be more like on that western side of the Denver metro area, a lot of really cool amenities. I guess the only con that comes out there is like per HOA, some of the fences that are out there are only about 4 to 4.5 feet tall, and the lot sizes as far as like the yard that you get is a little bit smaller. It's not terribly small, like you can't do anything back there. A lot of the homes that they're building kind of come with like the landscape. It doesn't come in the price, but the way that they set these up as far as like fire pits, it's more for entertainment area out back versus playing catch, baseball style, right? So like they're not terribly small, but they're small enough to the point where like if you do have kids and you want them to run around a lot in your backyard or play catch, you'd have to utilize the parks that are in the neighborhood, which are phenomenal. So it's not necessarily a deal breaker, but yes, on those lots, you get a little bit smaller of a backyard versus some of the other ones.
You do. And with this area as a whole, you know, Sterling Ranch has been there for a little while now, but they still have barely scratched the surface in regards to what it's going to be.
It's like a 20,000 home build or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it's huge. But just to give you guys some reference, if you're doing your research or if you're from Colorado or if you're new and you will be coming to Colorado and you're doing your research, it will be very comparable to Highlands Ranch, maybe slightly bigger than Highlands Ranch when it's all complete as far as size-wise, as far as homes and population. So a lot of cool stuff, but still in its infant stage. A lot of cool things about it. Definitely something to keep an eye on, and definitely something that you may want to look at investing in. Because yes, being that close to the western slope,
Front Range,
whatever, being that close to whatever I'm talking about, like yes, there are some good things to it. Yes, you do get some good school districts and a lot of cool things. But again, some things to think about when it comes to comparing it to some of these other areas as well.
That's right. Price point, again, similar to all these, and it's what you're going to find when you're looking at these nicer new build homes. Entry level is going to be about $700. By the time you're out the door, you might be spending $850 or $900. Once you're in there, you've got your lot, you've got your designs picked out. So count on that. But again, bigger lots, bigger homes, you're close to the mountains. You can go up and up and up in price as far as you want to go, but it is worth it.
Yes, and count on us being here because yes, we are licensed brokers in the state of Colorado, and yes, as much as we love making these videos, we would love more to help you with your real estate needs. So that number that's popping back up below, we are the guys who answer the phone calls, text messages, and those emails. So if there's something we can do to help, we would love to. But with that being said, until next video or next week or this weekend, we will see you guys very soon.
See you guys.